Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today I want to showcase my last build of the league, and I decided to go all out on a cast on crit Ice Nova Occultist, not an assassin. And basically I think when it comes to like all these like power charge or cast on crit and all these kind of things where the assassin was dominant for so long, I think nowadays, after a lot of revamps, after some nerfs to the assassin, after some buffs to the occultist, especially when it comes to the forbidden power as well as the forbidden flame and flesh combination, which gives you or can give you the heart of destruction from the elementalist, giving you 30% more elemental damage against unique enemies, as well as 60% increased AoE in the aspect of mapping, which is just the best of both worlds. And I think the occultist is just one of the, if not the strongest overall ascendancy right now in the game. Good. Where do we start this? So it is pretty late in the league. I'm not really too motivated anymore to grind currency or to like min-max this even further, because this the build, I think I spent somewhere around, I don't know, like 5 mirrors or something on it. So it is a very, very high budget build. But as I said, like for the last build, I want to try and go back to like a cast on crit Ice Nova build, which was like very, very popular in the past. But then after the nerf of the explode chest, I think this build lost quite some popularity. And to be honest, since I'm like a Winter Orb enjoyer, I just have to compare every single build, or that's what I do at least, to Winter Orb. And I think like cast on crit Ice Nova is still decent, but I think there is better skills around, and the way I build is just a little bit different, using obviously here a Mage Blood for what do you say? A Mage Blood to get like all the stuff that I need from the flask, as well as like my crit cap, my permanent onslaught, as well as some ruby flask to fix my fire resistance, because you are very much res starved on the build. As on top of that, I decided to go with the melding the flesh, so all my resistances are 90. Getting a lot of like maximum lightning resistance and so on. So it's ailment immune, it's like 90 all res, where CI chaos immune, and but I want to talk a little bit about that one in the later stages. I think we're just gonna run here 3 maps just for fun. Oh, here's another Elder. Yeah, we could definitely actually do a quick Elder, and then we're gonna run those 3 maps. Maybe get a Watcher's Eye, because I was just recording some other footage. So, I would say in the current state of the build, it's okay. It could do a lot better. I'm still not sure if I build it properly when it comes to like, is it necessary to be ailment immune? Is it necessary to have 90 all max res? Because in the end of the day, you're gonna sacrifice a lot of your damage based on it. I mean, this is just like a regular Elder, right? So not really a lot that can happen over here. So basically, I think we have so much AoE that we most likely can just stand in the middle, just channel our things, and the null portals will actually just disappear. But you know what, like Elder is not really, it's probably the easiest boss to fight, or like one of the endgame bosses. But hey, I had the fragments around, so why not just do this as a small little map showcase. I'm like, usually you would have like your vortex on your outer walk, but I just hate this when every time I'm walking around in my hideout doing trades, I'm like spawning all these like vortexes and whatnot, so it's so annoying. So the way that I do it is just like I have my vortex on my E, and once I need it, I just hold down E while right-clicking for the cyclone. And the problem is, like, yes, you will probably say that this is the wrong MTX to fit this kind of thing, but the vortex one, the other one, just gives me some insane frame losses, and it just like feels super bad to play like that. But yeah, one of these phases is like 35 seconds or so, and is like not really a way to skip that. But once we have like spawned a shit ton of frost bolts, and then the Novers will actually go on that, and then we have like an alternate quality frost bolt, so my projectiles will actually bounce off the wall or from anything they hit. It's like very funny actually. But you're gonna see in the map showcase, it's a very fast build, it's a very fun build, it has very good clearing, especially once you hit this like beautiful Val Ice Nova button, especially when you do like leeches and stuff like that. So I think we're almost there, killing a little bit more portals here, killing off the Elder. Sana will hopefully save us, and we're gonna get a Watcher's Eye with a Hatred base crit and flat cold damage, or pen even.
So that was the
Dude, bossing is so rewarding these days, it's actually amazing. But hey, let's run our 3 maps, and then we're going to talk about how I put this build together, what to look out for if you want to make a build like that, what about your attack speed, breakpoints, cooldown recovery rate, and all these kind of things. But yeah, the cool thing is, once you're cycloning, you can frost blink while cycloning, which is like very, very unique. And we're just gonna go in and kill a couple of monsters here, and then wait until we have our power charges, because each power charge will give us more AoE, will give us more damage, will just give us this, yeah, crit cap and, you know. And once you have like a couple of monsters, you can always like press this like super fancy Val Eisenhower button, right? I mean, it's probably not the fastest build these days. I think like it still comes to Cyclone, right? Once you Cyclone, you do actually get slower. There is an alternate quality for Cyclone where you get like 5% more movement speed. But in the end of the day, like auto-walking builds will always be faster than a Cyclone build. I mean, I do have elevated Tailwind Onslaught boots with CDR. No, I don't have Onslaught, but elevated Tailwind boots for sure. Then with the Mage Blood, having a Silver Flask to get my Onslaught. And then you can like basically choose whatever belt enchant you want to go. Give me some big monster densities here. Boom. Yeah, I definitely need to run like a map with like what is it? We could run this one, Alleyways map. That should be fine. Let me actually try to let me see if I have a Legion somewhere, because this is like where the fun part begins, right? Let's see, fragments, breaches, Scarabs, like I'm almost done. Sold so many things, so like literally done with the league so far. But I really enjoyed this league, man. It was so freaking good. I really enjoyed it, and I cannot actually wait until the next league starts. But you know, now like almost 2 months into the league, the trade is like very sloppy. Every time you want to buy something, you have to whisper like 10 different people and pay like 10 times the amount, and you know, nobody cares too much about it. But this is like what I feel about the league right now, right? Maybe other people have different opinions about that, but in this aspect where I'm playing, like I just like to finish the build, I bought like a Corrupted Blood, Melding the Flesh with 70% roll, and shit costs like 85 exalt, you know, like that's so brutal. Now, Legion Stone, small little lag, and it was not a one-shot. Yeah, it's probably because of the map layout, having like these like obstacles around that could potentially be the reason why the Nova didn't like connect fully. Should have probably ran like a barrel chamber map or something. Let's give it a second shot. One big Ice Nova, and it's just like this feels good moment, you know, like it's really great when it comes to that. You know, any big cards here? No big cards. But yeah, I'm not sure how much I should like explain about the build, because I think this is like, or has been, one of the most popular builds in the past. But in the other hand, there is always going to be new players that see this build and be like, yo, what is actually going on? So yeah, maybe because we are just running this map like brain AFK, right? What happens is I'm cycloning, and as soon as I crit, I do have multiple cast on crit setups, which means that I will spawn Frost Bolts as well as I will spawn Ice Novas, and the Ice Novas spawn on the Frost Bolts and have like multiple releases. So it's like really a lot of damage if built properly, if you take care of your cooldown recovery rate and those kind of things. Oh wait, there is a boss, right? Yo, actually, let me die on the boss showcase just to have like this awkward footage where you say like, damn, do I need to stop this footage now? Do I have to record everything again just because I died on the map showcase? I mean, you know, it happens. So here we have the, what was this one, like Constrictor, Purifier, Eradicator. I think that was the Constrictor Poison Dude. I mean, the Poison Dude shouldn't harm us at all just because we are CI, right? It just needs a little bit to actually have your power charges get up, because we get power charges based on the amount of mana that we spend. Actually, Maven watched. And I think like one of the downsides of this build, as you see over here, since I have so freaking much AoE, you're gonna run into the problem that sometimes you do not see what's going on. Especially when it comes to Maven. Oh wait, it was actually a double boss. Yeah, I think that's fine. Especially when it comes to Maven, right? The memory game and all these kind of things. If you stand here spamming your abilities with this massive amount of AoE, sometimes I just miss where the active tiles are, and then I screw up the memory game and stuff like that. So that can become pretty rough, but it's still overall a very fun build, a very fun experience. So before we talk about the gear, the gems, and how I build everything up, I want to talk about one very important build aspect here, and this is the cooldown recovery rate as well as the attack speed breakpoint. So okay, so basically I wrote this down here. The CDR is basically the cooldown recovery rate. The 3 breakpoints that we have, there is actually more breakpoints. I think there is a 4th one with like 130% plus or something. But this is like impossible to get. Even if you have like an Awakened Constant Crit with plus levels of gem, CDR on your belt, on your boots, on your Abyss Jewels, like you will not be able to reach this cap. So that's why I like just deleted it entirely. So a big misconception is that people think that the more cooldown recovery rate you stack, the better your proc rate is, which is not true, okay? There are generally 3 breakpoints, which is the 0 breakpoint, which means 0 to 13%, if we take it actually for real here, which means all within here will not increase anything. So there is a proc rate which is kind of equal to your attack speed. So I made here a small little template which just has an exquisite plate with a constant crit support, then adding an Ice Nova here on the weapon here, so I can replicate that, right? So as you see here, I have a 0.132 breakpoint. I think, yeah, it's too much. So let me say, we said, like, I just added here a jewel that just gives me cooldown recovery rate, so this is just a placeholder for, like, the CDR boots, belt, and whatnot, just for testing, for showcasing, right? So, if I have 0, my cooldown, my skill cooldown is 165 that I had over here, right? So, if we would calculate the 1 second divided by the 165, we will have a proc rate of 6.06, which is equal to my attack speed breakpoint. If I go higher than that, I'm actually getting lower DPS because I will miss out on certain procs. So you want to stay maybe like a little bit below that, like a 0.605, 603, everything like that should work just fine. But this is the 0 one. So now to showcase that, I'm going to add now 10% increased cooldown recovery rate, and you're going to see that nothing changes because the first breakpoint to hit is 14%. So if we do this now to 14%, you're going to see that we're going to get a lower cooldown recovery rate, as you see here. We're going to save this one, and now my internal proc rate is 0.132, which means I reach the second breakpoint, which is 7.57 or a 0.132 seconds internal cooldown. And now I'm going to say this here straight clear, right? If you have 14% or 45%, it does not matter. Let me actually showcase this one. I'm going to add now 30% extra cooldown recovery rate, which sets me to 44%, and you're going to see nothing happens. So either you reach the breakpoint barely and you're fine and you skip the rest, or you go for the next breakpoint. Everything in between is a waste of stat, is a waste of suffixes. And the highest one is 52%, and 52% means basically that you have an Awakened Constant Crit with a +3. I'll show you that in a second. So 52 will bring the cooldown down to 0.099, and you want to reach an attack rate of 10.10. If I open my current PoB, I do have a 0.099, and I do have a trigger rate of 10.09, which is my attack rate, so it's very, very min-maxed on this part, but it's not really the hardest thing to do. So, in order to get this 52%, you need an Awakened Constant Crit, which I have, where is my Awakened Constant Crit on my helmet? So the difference between a constant crit and the awakened version is that the awakened version actually gives you cooldown recovery rate to your skill. And once you accumulated that, or gathered that, or acquired that, better said, there are crit masteries where you can get +3 levels of critical support gems, which makes our constant crit level 9, and this one will give us 34% cooldown recovery rate. So you only need like elevated boots or something, or the belt with like a cooldown recovery rate for an extra 18%, and you're gonna reach the 52% cap, and then you're good to go. That's why I can allow myself to play with a Mage Blood, with a Headhunter, with any other belt, because I I reached my 52%. On the other hand, here on my cost breeze here, it does not work because I don't have a custom crit setup. So basically, one custom crit setup will run on my lower APS or breakpoint because the boots are global, and my main damaging skill will be on the 52% one. So keep that in mind once you want to build a character like this. It's a min-maxing of cooldown recovery rate as well as your attack speed. And the way you can fix your attack speed is like either you could go frenzy charges, but I decided to go with inner conviction for the more spell damage because the frenzy charges will actually give you a tremendous amount of attack speed. But I think the better solution is something like this one, just a jewel that gives you either attack speed while holding a shield, attack speed with swords, attack and cast speed, whatever, and then you just divine it to a place where you need it, right? And the way to do that, let me show you something. Let's assume I'm here on a 009 trigger rate, right? So let's assume I'm gonna use my jewel, which is the Vivid Scratch, if I can find it over here. Here's the Vivid Scratch, this is my attack speed jewel, right? If I just add this and make like, instead of 4%, I'm gonna make 5%, so it is more attack speed, but you see everything turns red. Why is that? Because as soon as I save that, my trigger rate goes down. And why? Because my Cyclone is now too fast. So I have like a 10.15 attack rate. Means I overextend my cap that I should technically have, but therefore I'm getting rewarded or punished with a lower trigger rate. So you really need to take care that you have the right amount of attack speed, the critical strike chance, and the hit chance with a precision or something, so you have the maximum amount of proc rate. So if I would even go a step further and say like, you know what, let's screw this this jewel here and let's go with frenzy charges, you're gonna see that I'm actually, if I go here to Ice Nova and I go frenzy charge, right, I'm losing DPS. I'm actually losing DPS. And why is that? Yes, a frenzy charge gives me more damage, but since I get so much attack speed, like with frenzy charges, check my trigger rate from 10.02 to a solid 8.5 because I'm having so much attack speed that it screws up my entire trigger rate. And this is like, you really need to take care or be careful with that. Okay, let's talk about the gearing real quick, and then the PoBs in the description below, because I have two versions for you. One is the version that I run in-game over here, and the second version would be this one that has like 100 or like 80 mil DPS over here. I'm pretty sure it was higher. I don't know which what I have done here. Was it like, is this a melding version? It is not a melding version. But anyways, I'm gonna just give you this one. This is something I theory crafted here with all like crafted gear, right? And the one that I run in-game with actual in-game gear where items even have names, right? So I decided to go with a multi-link helmet that has like, the way you craft this is like you go for essence crafted with base crit and hypothermia elevated. You can either craft this the usual way, or you craft this with recombinators. This should not be a crafting guide. I just want to showcase what items did I use here. And it is important to see socketed attacks have crit strike chance, not spells, because we want to hit like our trigger is Cyclone, and if our Cyclone doesn't crit, we're not going to get spells. So it's really really important to have the base crit over here. And I'm running here my Cyclone with custom crit and inspiration and the Ice Nova. So it's basically a multi-link helmet. On the chest, I decided to go with a big aura setup, which is Stellatry, Discipline, Purity of Lightning, and Lightning Support, Hatred, and Herald of Ice. So the way why I'm using here Purity of Lightning is because of melding the flesh. So the way I wanted to build it is melding the flesh, getting 90% maximum resistance on lightning, and then have the equal amount on fire and cold. And the way I solved this is with the Imbalance Guard jewel here, where I can anoint not only 2 max resistance, 1 max resistance, I can only take also take the small one over here. And if you run Purity of Lightning and you have like aura effect, it gives you even more maximum resistance. And I choose to go with some Megalomaniacs with Wizardry over here and Pure Aptitude to give you like lower mana cost on your purity of elements, purity of lightning, right? But the wizardry gives me 2 max lightning resistance. You can also solve this here with the unnatural calm, gives you a bunch of energy shield as well as 1 maximum lightning resistance, and there is other ways to fix that, but once you reach the 90%, you're good to go. But it's really hard to get resistance capped on that. That's why I decided to go with a double prismatic heart combo with blanketed snow. Then we have a double vast power magnifier jewel here with, and I think all of mine have like all resistance, and even running a mage blood belt with a flask with all resistance, I'm barely actually capped above my 90 max res, since melding the flesh gives you a solid negative 70 resistance over here. Good. Then on the weapon we have our second trigger, which is a frostbolt with ice nova and a GMP for more projectiles. In the shield I'm actually was playing around here. I have a clarity here that is not really that strong, but the thing is why I'm using it is because of my Watcher's Eye. That has like clarity minus mana cost to non-channeling skills, because one of the issues is, since all of this rework with cast on crit, you actually have to spend your mana. I can tell you, since I have Frostbite as well as Assassin Mark as well as Elemental Weakness, it can happen that I'm running out of mana once I attack a boss, because I have like 10 attacks per second, and every attack will apply these curses, and all of these cost mana. We do have inspiration and other sources, and my Cyclone is currently on 1 mana cost, which is super fine. It procs my inspiration and everything, but overall you have an issue running out of mana if you have like that amount of attack speed. So this is something that you could think of like solving at some point, because I don't know how to fix this as of right now, and I'm pretty much done with the league. I don't really want to bother with it too much anymore. So clarity and a precision. Then we have here Frostblink with a Cane Surge, a Mark on Hit with Assassin's Mark, and then we have Vortex, Hex Touch with Ally Weakness, and Divergent Frostbite, which is basically my degenning on the monster here, and which is like a lot of damage. It used to be a 4-link aura setup on the boots and a 6-link Vortex with Bone Chill support and something else on the chest, which is a lot more damage. But running that amount of auras, deciding to go with Melding the Flesh, deciding to go with Purity of Lightning, I needed so much mana reservation that I decided to go with a 5-link aura setup with even an Awaken Enlighten, and I'm actually solving the mana issues over here. I don't know if you need a level 5, but there is always other ways to fix your mana issues over here. I could also have gone down to Leadership. I have Charisma anointed. Maybe you can even scale down to Charisma with an Intuitive Leap and just anoint the Champion of the Cause. Like, there is multiple ways to fix that, but it's becoming very rough the more auras you want to go in, especially if I want to run like something like a high level precision, which costs like a tremendous amount of mana. Then when it comes to the rings, I have a +1 maximum power charge ring with the Circle of Fear. You might wonder now, why don't you use a +2 power charge ring? The thing is, like, this ring gives you so much damage, and I even PoB'd my mirror tier double power charge rings from my Winter Orb character into this build, but it actually gives me lower DPS because it also has the Essence mod with cold damage per frenzy, so I needed to opt in frenzy charge, and this screwed up all my breakpoints with the attack speed. So I said, like, we're gonna do it old school with some Circle of Fears, and since these rings are not that matter anymore, I think a ring like that would have cost you probably a mirror or something in other leagues. Now it was like 100x or something, so definitely affordable on the, you know, it always depends. Like, you're definitely affordable with 100 exalts. Like, this is just one freaking item here, right? So it always depends. If you run a build that costs multiple mirrors, then 100 exalts is not even a lot, right? It's considered like one of the cheaper items compared to like something like a multi-link helmet, and Ashes of the Star is actually very expensive. This shield is actually pretty good, even though it was not that expensive at all, because the attack damage implicit is kind of ruined. But like boots like this, they're like very expensive with like elevated tailwind, avoid elemental ailments, cooldown recovery rate, some ace-link modifier, and so on. So once you reach this budget of builds, I would say, then yeah, 100 exalts is just like, yeah, one part of the build, and some other parts will be a lot more expensive. For example, this double double corrupted mage blood with hatred crit, which is also like very expensive. Good. Then I decided to go with a double large cluster jewel with a double megalomaniac here. You can check out these megalomaniacs in the path of building here, Master of Fear and Wish of Death, which means all my cursed enemies is Culling Strike and Unnerved, and that's why I could actually replace my Unnerved to go with a freeze spread, which is pretty sick. I crafted these gloves myself here with, but they cost me like so much, dude. I hit like 17 times double T1, T2 or something, and like divining those, oh boy, man. I spent so much time on this character already. It's actually ridiculous. Like super fine tuning, divining everything perfect, as good as possible. And yeah, I'm probably the reason why divine orbs are so expensive. Then when it comes to the avoid elemental ailments, I do have an essence over here. No, wait, it was actually just is it an essence? No. It's just a shaper suffix here, but I think it also is in a normal drop pool now with a chance to avoid elemental ailments, 35%. Then I got myself a Megalomaniac with Elegant Form, which is another 20%. I used to have the Arcane Guardian, the Shield Mastery, with avoid elemental ailments, but having this Megalomaniac saved me up to like 4 points over here, which was pretty nice. And then you have like a 20% over, or 25% on the Arcane Sentry. And I think that was pretty much it. And then you should be able to get like the 100%. This one, this, and probably I miss like one item here somewhere. Doesn't really matter. Flasks, Bottled Faith, then a Ruby Flask, just because I wasn't able to get my fire resistance capped, so this was the easiest fix. With some reduced mana cost of skills, very important. It double dips with the inspiration support. Then a Diamond Flask with curse immunity. Then I have an Onslaught Flask with attack speed, and a Quicksilver Flask with all resist. I think that should be enough for the like how this build is put together. All the information, if you're able to make a build like that on this kind of budget, you should be able to also read a PoB when it comes to like the certain gem setups and whatnot. And you will most likely going to take all the information out of that. I do have here the purple skin skull helmet effect with the purple necrotic armor. Boots and gloves here with the Harmony Wings and the Astra character effect with some Stygian crystalline charges, the Dark Magic weapon as well as the Arcane Celestial Shield, both with the Astral weapon effect, the Ethereal Ashes of the Stars with some Frost Viking helmet attachment and Purple Eyes, and the Astral Portal effect. And then basically all the auras are disabled thanks to Invisible buff effect. Then we do have the Black Hole Frostbolt, the Celestial Ice Nova twice, the Dark Shard Cyclone, as well as the Myrmidon Vortex effect. I'm gonna swap this one now to the other one, which is the Black Hole, but you're gonna see here, the more I spawn out of these, like, I don't know, which is like, it's probably the particles or the kind of like wind around it or something, but as soon as you spawn some Cyclones and like you have like 10-15 Vortexes that spawn on the Frostbolts, my frame rate goes down to like 20, and this one, the other one, the Myrmidon one, was just very like more FPS friendly when it comes to that, right? Because there's probably not as many particles and no like swirling thingies around. But overall, very fun build. Was very fun to put together. A lot of min-maxing has to be done, especially like this is one of the builds you should or have to PoB firsthand, just so you know where do you get your cooldown recovery from. Where is your attack speed at? Is your hit chance there? How do you get your base crit chance? Like, I even have so much base crit chance that I don't even run a base crit hatred. I run with the hatred discipline, ES gained, and minus 10 mana cost. Another very important part is here the global defense on the chest. It gives you like 2000 extra ES or something. It's actually quite ridiculous. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Thank you.